Oh, hey! I didn't see you there. Welcome back to Cooking with Producer Nate. I, of course, am Cory's older brother. I'm glad you could make it. Today we're making a very, very special recipe that I think all of you fans out there are going to really enjoy. It's a savory kind of recipe, something that you can really sink your eyes into and give a good thumbs up. So come on. Now you're asking yourself, why do I need to see a recipe? Well, it's a special kind of one. It's one that illuminates our minds, one that allows us to see forward in time as to what might actually be coming in the future weeks or time from now. And it's a real simple one. First off, you start with a pot. Don't be choosy, it doesn't matter. Any old pot will do. Yeah! Now you've got your pot, and that's fantastic. The sun is hitting me right in the face, just like the knowledge of making this special dish will hit you right in your eyeballs. There's a couple of extra key ingredients that we need when constructing something as powerful as this. One might even call it a spell or some sort of future vision thing. Who knows? But for the most part, let's break down a couple of the extra meaty bits of the recipe. Whoops, closed the door there before I opened it. Most of these extra ingredients you can find in a pantry, which is basically a closet that we've determined you can just stick stuff in that isn't closed. Well, inside a pantry you can store a whole bunch of good things. But for this recipe, it's pretty simple. First, we need salt. Any kind of salt will do. Second, well, actually I lied. We need two types of salt. This is extra granular salt because it's a really salty kind of thing. Third is chocolate. Any kind will do because winning is sweet, sweet goodness. And as always here on Cooking with Producer Nate, we're all about safety. So always remember to close your pantry door. Why, you might ask? Well, if you own animals, they'll get in there and most likely chew on your food or anything else, or maybe go to the bathroom or rip down something else that you don't want them to touch or jump on shelves. It's basically a whole frustrating thing, really. Next is the super, super easy part. You just get some water. It doesn't have to be tap water or filtered water, but you put it in your pot. Be sure not to measure because, let's face it, it doesn't really count for something like this. Next goes in your salt. Now, the measurement of salt is a little bit difficult, but you have to imagine just how salty were those people who lost. That's when the granulars come in, extra salty. Ooh, they're mad. You don't need a lot of sweetness because if you put in too much sweetness, the victory will most likely not end up your way. Sweetness. Last but not least, the essence of a fighter's blood. Perfect. And remember, when stirring, always counterclockwise. It helps the boiling process. Now, while this is getting ready to boil, this is the time to take to reflect. You must think about all the opponents you crushed. In some cases, just flat out obliterated. Caused to submit. Whatever the feelings that you feel towards the opponents you've defeated are now in focus. It helps to go into the stew that we're making tonight. And there's a certain, I don't know what the French would call it, but je ne sais quoi. It gives it a little bit of a zip when you taste that good old-fashioned, ha, I beat you. Oh, yes. Oh, it's looking good now. Now, it's almost perfect. There's just a couple of small ingredients that we need to enter. And they're really simple too. They're the names of all the people that you've defeated. So, Simon, Jack, Rob, Mark. Those are the guys who lost the tournament. And they get mixed in to this lovely little thing. Ooh, doesn't that just look delicious? Doesn't that make you feel like a winner? Well, there you have it. And that wasn't so hard now, was it? Probably you're asking yourself, now what do you do with this fantastic feast? Nothing, you pour it down the sink. Just like that. Always be sure to clean up after you're done. Well, I know that you clicked on this to find out who actually is going to be facing who, and you're asking yourself, how are you possibly going to figure it out? It's easy. I put our names inside of this little cuppy thing, and I'm just going to randomly draw Tara, will be taking on the disaster, which then leaves Cory, right, to take on Chris for the semifinals. Oh, and by the way, these aren't going to be any regular match semifinals. No, they're going to be held in a cage match. And what's going to be the final? Well, you'll just have to wait and see. It's 2 more weeks until we find out. And as always, wrestle your faces off.